All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Shaman J. I'd go out on a limb and say that my Samsung catalog is fairly strong. It's a really nice set of devices I have here. I obviously have the Fold 4, the Z Flip 4, and the S22 Ultra. Now I'm really waiting for the the S23 Ultra to round out this circle here, because there's not going to be any more devices coming from the 4 lineup for their foldables until next year. So this has been impressive, man. Samsung has been pushing out updates left and right for the devices, and I think it's time for them to get the credit that some probably don't want to give. And I personally feel like they're rolling right along with Google at this point. So Google is the one who's got the ability to push out and keep their devices first. Like Apple does a great job of making sure all their devices are updated. And, you know, obviously we love iPhones, we love Pixels. Having the latest devices from Google, you know, Samsung is right there. When it comes to the S22 Ultra, it's on the same as my Pixel 7 Pro and Pixel 7. And that's saying something. And that's actually pretty good that they're doing it this way, because Samsung at one point wasn't known for having the best for updates. They just didn't do it. They weren't pushing out updates like they should, and they should have been. And it just got really bad for Samsung at one point, falling behind. But ever since what year was it, or which device did they decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and push out updates all the time? I don't recall which one, but I do know that all of my devices are they're on the November security patch, or October at the late. No, they're all on November. Yep, they're all in November. All of these are on November, and we're in November. And then this one is actually on Android 13. So that's a huge plus. And I think once we can get Samsung to the point where their devices can, not so much, because see, they offer some complete devices, almost to the point to where a person, like, once you start using a foldable, you won't want to use anything else. This is true. Sometimes I find myself, I carry both. I carry this one for sure, and then I rotate between these two because I carry the Pixel 7 Pro and the iPhone. But when I leave the house, I have one device, more than likely. And then I'll have my Pixel Watch on to help cover the phone number that I want to leave at home or whatever. But in the end, Samsung is offering like complete lineups. I mean, like, all their devices aren't perfect. The A lineup has fallen off, in my opinion. Once the A53 came out, that was a joke of a device, and I hate that I bought it. It was definitely a catch and release. I didn't think it was going to be. But the A lineup was kind of like that hidden jewel that they had, and it just kind of went away to me. The S line, this fold line, they're folding phones. The S line has always been their bread and butter. But what they're trying to do now is get the foldable devices onto that next level. And the one way they're doing it is this device right here, the Z Flip 4 and the Z Flip lineup. Those devices are priced right in line with the S line. It's just that they fold and they have a little bit more functionality, and some would argue that they don't have the best cameras, but I still beg to differ. I think these cameras on the Fold 4 and the Z Flip 4 are right in line with the S22 Ultra and the S22 lineup. It's all about what you want. So the Z Fold 4 and the Z Flip 4, they've kind of completed this circle, in my opinion, that Samsung has been looking for. They want to have some all-around devices, and why not? I mean, if you're not using a foldable by now, I think you might just be not wanting to accept the inevitable. What if they only go 2 foldables? Pause, I'm sipping coffee. What if they decide, okay, yeah, we're not going to build any more slabs, we're going all foldables? Apple was one of the first to implement eSIM only devices in the US. So there's nothing wrong with Samsung saying, hey, look, we're going foldables only. The slabs that you see are going to be foldables. They're not going to be like this anymore. They're going to fold away into a compact design like this. I actually prefer this. I mean, some people get so caught up in specs on a device, they don't see sometimes the entire picture, and it's not always just about specs. It has to be that you're getting what they're offering. So skip that. Put this one on the home screen. I love switching out my wall. Yeah, that's butter right there. It's butter. Skip that. You have to figure out how to navigate the system, how to navigate the matrix. You got to figure it out. And people who say they don't want a foldable device, folks, there's so much more to this device than there is the S22 Ultra. The Fold now has pen support. It's only a matter of time before Samsung makes a folding device like this style that will have a pen on the slot here. It's just a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, and I totally feel like that is something that will be way more intriguing than any slab phone that we have out today. Now, Samsung offers a variety of devices, and I think they have the most complete. Now, Google doesn't offer a folding device yet, but they do have one in the works, hopefully soon. But to me, if you're trying to get into an area that's leading towards a better thing, that is where this device right here comes into play. The Fold 4 is nice, but the Fold 4 is still a ginormous device. It really is. I mean, like, as far as when I say ginormous, I mean for the average person. This might come across as a huge phone to a lot of people. It's thicker than, it's two phones technically together. It's still kind of fragile, but it still works for me. I don't have a problem with. I've banged that phone up several times. I don't really baby phones like that. But I think if Samsung could really figure out how to get all of their, I'm on board with having no more slab phones and having foldable phones in this style. This style still has a little ways to go to get the masses to really enjoy this. Now, obviously, this is the king right here. The Z Fold 4 is top notch, but the masses are going to gravitate towards the Z Flip 4 because it folds away so nice and compact. It's just that. And if Apple decides to make a folding device, it's going to be great. Folding devices are the future. They're just not taking off yet. Now, if Google decides we're going to go ahead and bring out a Pixel that folds in this style first, it's going to be a hit. It is going to be a hit because unless you use one of these devices right here, the folding ones like this, you'll never know how nice it is to throw this in your pocket. I have a case on here and everything. You'll never know. Even with the bulkiest case, let me find a bulky case. Even with a super rugged case like this, it still feels good. It feels great. Even with a rugged style case like this, it feels great. It's still nice and compact, and there's just no way of getting around it. This is going to be the future. I hope so. I hope that all devices get to this point right here where this folding style right here becomes the norm. I like this design right here. I like this design better than the Z Fold 4 when it comes to versatility and daily use. And some people think because I have large hands or whatever, they feel like I want to have a massive phone in my pocket. That's just not the case. This is the ultimate device for the masses. Whether people want to accept it or not, this is a way that we can transition everybody into a foldable device. I've always preached this. There's so much to love about folding phones in this orientation that you just need to use it. Battery life, I know people always are concerned about battery life, but you know what, folks? The fact of the matter is, this phone gets better battery life than the Ultra. It just does. Or if not better, depending on who you are. If not better, it's right on par. So are you opposed to having a foldable device like this as your daily driver. You should see the new whip right there. If you haven't subscribed to my car channel yet, be sure to hit that up. I need you to get over there and go start checking out one of the new whips. But are you opposed to having a device like this as your daily driver? What would it take, I guess I should say, to get you to understand that this will work in your favor? There's so many advantages to having a folding device in this orientation over this style. Especially when taking videos, photos, all kinds of things, it really plays a part. Now, Samsung got hit really hard with the Z Flip 3's battery life. A lot of people didn't like that battery life, and it just didn't do well for them. So they got rid of it. But they came back and bumped it up just a little bit, gave it a better and more efficient processor, and boom, here we are, 2022, late 2022. This is probably one of the best phones I have in the catalog. And that's saying a lot because I have a big catalog. I have predominantly newer devices and several older devices, but I have a lot of the newer devices. I try to make sure I keep at least some of the newer devices on hand. So Samsung could control the market if they really want to put in the right marketing. They're pushing their devices. I get it, but this device to me is like the ultimate device. Like the design, the cameras, the style, everything about it. Now, granted, they could tweak this design and make it better. I would prefer to not have the black glass all around here and just still have that small screen right there. That's cool, but all this area that's black, make it the same color as the device. That's how I would like it. I would make it all one color. That's how I would do it. You know, so that's just me. Like the module here, you know what I'm saying? Like I have a black camera module protector over here, but it's the same color as the device on the Fold 4. And so people kind of laughed at this design on the Ultra. They laughed at this design on the Ultra, but I like that camera module over the S21's camera module. Some people didn't like this camera module. I liked it better. I feel like Samsung is winning. They are winning, whether people want to accept it or not. Yes, love Google products, love Apple products, but when it comes to the devices that are actually in the hands of the consumers, we can only push so many iPhones. We can only push so many of those. We can only push so many Pixels. I guess answer this question. Would you rather carry around this in your pocket? Now, women are somewhat excluded, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Because they have purses and all kind of bags. Some men have Merces, and you know what I'm saying? But in my small backpack, I keep the strap. I don't like to carry it on my hip, so I carry it in a small man bag, just a shoulder toss, and that's it. I don't put anything else in there. Extra clips, and that's it. I carry my phone in my pocket and, you know, my wallet in my pocket. I don't carry a bunch of stuff in a bag. So women are excluded. But when it comes to a design element of a device, fellas, you telling me you wouldn't want to carry a small device like this in your pocket that folds open into a nice full-size display? Why wouldn't you want to do this? I don't understand it. Some of you guys are very insecure too, because I've heard people saying, "Oh, it looks like a female. What is it called? I guess the makeup kit." The fact that you know what it is, it's kind of just saying. That's the last thing I'm thinking about when I'm looking at it. I'm just looking at a phone that folds. You know what I mean? So I feel like if Samsung can bring out, because let me be honest here, the Motorola Razr, I'm about on the fist. I'm about to pull that trigger. I'm about to pull that trigger so fast. That device dropped in price a little bit. So basically the price that they were offering initially for the 128, I can now get the 512 for the same price. They cutting the price because it's an international device currently, so it's not available on carriers. So, you know, I'm about to cut cheese on that, man. That's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. This device is still, to me, the best foldable slab like this. And obviously the Z Fold 4 is, to me, in the US, the best foldable slab or designed like that. But this is a premium film device, but I need to get my hands on that Razr. I really do. I need to get my hands on that Razr because I feel like it's probably going to be better than this device in a lot of ways. When I bought the other generation of it, battery was trash. Cameras were subpar to me, and really it was just that battery life. That battery life was really bad. Like, I couldn't even make it 4 or 5 hours. It's running low on the battery. And I think they've done justice to us by bringing us a new update on the Razr. But unfortunately, I think a lot of these companies don't want to deal with the U.S. They don't want to deal with companies in the U.S. because, you know, people in the U.S. are super critical. We want a whole bunch for a little bit of money, and we don't want to pay anything for it. Now, I'm saying we because I live over here too, but I've seen some of these ridiculous, outlandish things that people are requesting from companies. It's just stupid. They want this phone for $799. I mean, come on. These companies are not going to do that, so you should just let that rest. But for me, this trio right here is a winning trio. Name another brand that has a winning trio like this. I'll wait for you in the comment section. It's your man Jay. I'm out. Camera's off.